Superb. So here we are on a absolutely smashing Sunday morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Aditya Shekhar. I'm a part of team Gets It Law. I have done my law from National Law University, Jodhpur. And today, here, all of us are because of a very interesting session about NALSAR Hyderabad. So this is the second best law university according to many rankings, but not according to NIRF, if I'm not mistaken. So that's there, and goes without saying. When I talk about the importance of this university, its age, its experience, all of it is simply unparalleled. So this university was established back in 1998 in Hyderabad, Telangana, and is considered to be one of the best universities, especially in terms of foreign placements. So a lot of foreign firms, they do come and pick students up from here and place them directly with themselves abroad. So the good bit is that. The sad bit is the amount of competition which you need to undergo to get into a university like this. So if I'm talking about common law admission test, the amount of students you have is around 55, 60,000. And for a general category student to get into a university like NALSAR Hyderabad, you need a rank of around 150, if I'm not mistaken. So speaks volumes about the panelists who we have here. Because of their hard work, they are where they are right now, and we congratulate all of you first to be a part of this prestigious university, to have achieved that bit in your life, and we welcome all of you to this session today. So good morning, Ishwari, Kabir, and Chandra.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right. So let's begin the session. I will go with the junior most member of our panel today, Kabir. Clearly, I can see a lot of interesting backgrounds, which you told me that that's your brothers. But yeah, so speaking about your background in general, where did you do your schooling from, and what exactly was that impetus, that drive for you to get into a field of law? If you can go ahead and elaborate on that.
Yeah, sir. My dad, he's got a transferable job, which enabled me to travel a lot uh, during my schooling time. So I've been schooled in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and a little bit in Kolkata as well. So yeah, that was about uh, the basic idea of all of
Like,
these languages spoken in these states.
where did you do your schooling from? Like especially the 11th and 12th
11th and 12th in Mumbai.
in Mumbai. Which
Yeah.
school?
It was a junior college, HR
Oh,
College of
yeah,
Commerce.
there's a different system there. There's a
Yes, sir. For the
system of
government
junior.
colleges in
Right,
Mumbai.
right,
Yeah.
right. All right, superb. And then you happen to. So what was that driving bit for you to enter into a field of law? So why did you choose law per se?
Uh, I was a very confused child initially. Like even when I came to class 12th, I was super confused. I was, in fact, I actually registered for two other courses other than law related. One was company secretary, and so these are basically my backup plans in case CLAT doesn't work out. So yeah, I was a pretty confused person back then, and then yeah. So about law excites me uh, a lot ever since I was a child. It has been, I think, yeah, it has been something that is that it is very interesting to you know
Experience per se, and
exactly. So
things in that, right?
yeah, especially the litigation part of it. That is what caught my attention as a child.
Right.
I've been to courts in my childhood. I really like what.
Because
Uh,
your father, I'm assuming.
no one in my family is a lawyer. I'm a
Oh,
first
okay.
generation.
So you used to volunteer yourself to go into,
Yeah, I
law
used to go with
cases.
my. So my dad, he used to like he filed a couple cases against. He's
Okay.
basically a whistleblower.
Okay.
So he does stuff like that. So
All
yeah,
right.
that
Superb.
was it.
Superb, Kabir. All right, so I'll move to Ishwari. Ishwari, what's your background and what's your story? To be sure.
Sure. Actually, first of all, just like Kabir, I did my schooling and my junior college from Mumbai itself. And about my background in law, it's kind of a bit interesting because I'm a first generation lawyer. I don't have anyone from law. Um, so I was also figuring it out, and my dad has some friends who are lawyers, who are advocates.
Right.
So whenever they used to visit our house, and whenever my dad used to discuss some business-related things with them, I was quite fascinated. I was quite interested in it because all the time I used to be there. I tend uh, to listen to them.
Right.
And in somewhere around my sixth, I decided, I was
Six.
just thinking, sixth, that's very early, but in my sixth, I I was thinking, and I decided to do law because
Right.
I remember in our school there was kind of an atmosphere where either parents used to compel their children to take up science or commerce, and or the children were molded in such a way. So I also had decided to take up arts, and I wanted to do this. So one fine day, I just went up to my parents and told them somewhere around in seventh or something that I'm thinking of pursuing law, and I think that's my
That's your
only career.
right.
That will be my dream career. So I'm just thinking I need your support. And within few seconds, they were like, "Okay, fine. That's if that's what you want to do. We are completely okay with it, and we will not think the kind of log kya kahenge or what
Right.
will society."
That's a huge
So,
support. Absolutely. I completely agree. Thanks a lot, Ishwari. Next
yeah.
up, Chandra. So, what's your story? What was your background, and what was that drive, that impetus for you to, come to law?
So my story is not quite like the other two. I mean, I wasn't around law since a young age. In my family, one of my cousin brothers is a lawyer, but I met him only later on when I was myself studying for CLAT in IMS, and he was working at a law firm in South Mumbai. But before that point, I think much like Kabir, I was confused about what I wanted to do in life. I didn't have any discerning interests as such. I mean, I thought about maybe becoming a pilot because I like the life of like flying planes, traveling the world, going to different hotels, and I like the prospect of that.
Right.
But I realized that it took a lot of math and science and stuff like that, physics. It takes a lot of calculations. I couldn't do that at all. That was completely off the table for me. In fact, I had dropped maths for economics and EVS in 9th and 10th. So I was in that kind of a field where, okay, I was geared towards arts. And my plus two was in the junior college as well, Wilson College. And in Wilson as well, it was more like a fun time for me. It wasn't studies geared that much. But then in 12th, my parents were like, listen, there's like a year left for you to graduate. So let's start seeing the options on the table. What should you do to like have a career, all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, let's figure out what to do. And they were like, okay, if you like, for example, debating in MUNs, you like youth parliaments and stuff, you like drafting and that. So why don't you just opt for maybe law, because that doesn't require maths, doesn't require science, and existing skills can be taken into that.
Right.
And so I was thinking about it, and then I said, okay, sure. Let me look for like a good coaching institute. I found IMS near my house, some like 3 minutes from my house. And once I got there, it was like a completely different like phase of my life. I actually look forward to going to class even after Wilson ended. I used to go there sit down class. It was peaceful. It was calm. I like the legal reasoning section a lot over there. It's not quite like in law school, of course, but it was a good starter to see how life would be there.
Right.
I made like friends there. The teachers were great, and it was a good environment, I think.
Superb. Superb.
Yeah.
So speaking of the good environment before your common law admission test, you are from I'm assuming you are in your third year.
Third year is completed.
Right. So for you, common law admission test was slightly different than what it is for the current students.
Yes.
Right? It was more of a MCQ, wherein the extensive critical reasoning and extensive reading was something which was not required. So, how was your common law admission test preparation, and what were the other examinations which you also targeted, and what basically made you to convert to a college like NALSAR? Because having said that, the current structure, of course, is slightly difficult, but of course, to get a rank, to fetch a rank like that, it's still commendable. So you must have had something really in your favor, or that strategy which worked really well for you. So if you can go ahead and explain that.
Right. So, my time, I think, is different. I'm not quite aware about how CLAT is these days. I've just been reading up sometimes about it when the test comes around every year. But back in 2018, it was very different. So there were a lot of problems that year actually in CLAT. I think there were a lot of issues in every test center. There were lawsuits filed after the test happened because the computers weren't responding. There were major issues in every center. The paper was not very well structured as such. So I do remember that being a very tumultuous time in the CLAT area. Like me and my friends were at the center, like near each other, just wondering what is happening here. Things are like not going right at all, which felt different than we had heard about from our seniors, maybe in IMS or the teachers from IMS. And like with CLAT, I also targeted SLAT, which is the Symbiosis Law School admission test. I targeted ALET for NLU Delhi. And I think, MHCET. That was for the Maharashtra law colleges.
Right.
So I did try to go for the Jindal Law School admission test. I think it's called LSAT. Right. But my parents were like, "No, Jindal is way too expensive and stuff, so you don't need to even give the test." I'm like, "Yeah, theek hai." After seeing the fees, it was quite high. So I'm like, "Okay, this is good enough for now."
Yeah.
So I did give these tests. SLAT went well. I got through the interview phase of Symbiosis, but then by that time I was focusing on ALET and other exams, so I didn't really give it that much of a thought at that time. I kept it as a backup option.
You were simultaneously preparing for your boards as well, and as well as these.
Boards was I was preparing for boards, but to be fair, it wasn't that much prep for board because I was in the arts stream, and in HSC it's not that much effort as compared to maybe someone in ISC or someone in IB.
Right.
It was fairly easygoing, but I had to prep for boards first.
Right.
I had to prep for boards first somewhat, and then focus all my time on the law entrance tests.
And the amount of time which you used to spend every day on common law admission test preparation.
Okay, so it was around. So what I did was actually I don't remember. I gave mock tests quite a lot. Like every day, I think I gave at least one mock test, if not two. Most of the times, if IMS was open at the time, I used to go there and sit on the computers there, solve the test. Or if I had to be at home, then I would do it on the laptop, the computer. Right. And so I did the mock tests quite frequently just to find out where I'm going wrong, what is happening. And so based on that, I improved my test scores in that sense.
Right.
And the mock tests were very important to just find out how the simulation would be, which is why it was so surprising for a lot of us when CLAT 2018 went so wrong.
Right.
And there were problems, people were filing lawsuits and all. It was quite a different experience.
All right. Ishwari, what about you? How did you fare? Especially Chandra put emphasis on the amount of mocks which are there to be taken by common law admission test. What was that thing? I think it's getting.
There's a bit of lag somewhere. I can't track it there.
Yeah.
Is your YouTube audio on right now? Like maybe the feedback is coming from there.
No, I have it on my phone, so I'm pretty sure. Some,
I think
I
it's
think
gone.
it's gone, sir.
is it gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Superb. So usually, I would ask you again. Ishwari, can you switch off your YouTube this thing, if you can? Yeah. Yeah, it's better. So I was asking, just like Chandra, who went ahead and gave a lot of mocks to improve his score and basically to get a feel of how his preparation should be. What was it for you? Was it mocks? Was it something else? How much time were you devoting for common law admission test before the examination? And I'm assuming you were simultaneously preparing for your boards as well. So how were you managing boards as well as common law admission test?
As far as CLAT was concerned, I was kind of devoting some daily 2 hours from my board's preparation, because that particular year, 2019, I had my boards for 2020. I had my CLAT, as well as I'm a dancer. So that same year, I was preparing for my Arangetram. So I had to balance between all these three, and I had I kind of made my timetable such that I could do everything, but not compromise on anything. So every day I used to be like 2 hours of CLAT for giving for CLAT, and the other time for my boards,
Right.
and
And
in between,
if I talk
in
about
between,
the 2 hours which you were spending in common law admission test, how
yeah.
did you manage these 2 hours? Because 2 hours is slightly less, especially if I talk about the huge plethora of books
Yeah.
and resources which you are supposed to cover. So how
Yes.
did you use to spend these 2 hours?
So in these 2 hours, I used to select any two sections, that is for GK, for example, and other is mathematics, because these two areas were kind of where I needed to work. I needed to put some more time in it, and the other area was logical reasoning. So on a day I used to sit down, I used to just revise what was taught in the class, and we had our books to practice some. So I used to take questions from it. I used to try to solve according to what was taught to us, and while doing so, after those 2 hours, even for preparing for my boards, I used to take 15 minutes breaks. In that, I used to again revise, or maybe read some GK or current affairs. I used to do that. And
Right, right. So
regarding
very
the mock test,
structured way of going about it. I'm sure
yeah,
you had
and
mock as well.
yeah. So sorry. So afterwards, I tried to increase those 2 hours to maybe 3 hours and 4 hours. As soon as I got free from my Arangetram stuff, and yeah. So in 2020, I used to devote my time for at least 4 hours for the
Right.
lab preparation.
So speaking about Kabir's preparation now, Ishwari, if you can mute yourself, yeah. So Kabir, you witnessed an absolute change in terms of structure when I talk about common law admission test. It's all gone now.
Right, sir.
There's no simple MCQ questions which were there at our time.
Right.
How did you embrace this change? One, because this was absolutely new, and you were preparing your momentum was towards a different preparation, and then you had to adjust yourself to the new structure which common law admission test imposed. So how did you go about it, and what is your advice to the current students who simultaneously have to prepare for boards as well as managing common law admission test and the new ALID, so to speak?
Right. Sir, in terms of actually, I'm very, I'm grateful to have such disciplined, hardworking seniors. Listening to them speak is really inspiring. So my story isn't something that. So as I've already told you, I've been pretty confused in my class 12. So what my dad told me was this: there was this one iron imperative that he placed before me. He asked me. He actually, yeah. So the iron imperative was that you either get into the top 3 law schools or just continue with your CS, because yeah, like I said, I was preparing for CS as well during my boards. So until the boards got over, I was very, uh, you can say, unprepared for CLAT. So I all I did was read newspapers, and that was actually that kept me going, reading the newspapers and reading articles that were relevant. So I had this group of seniors from NUJS. They were very, very helpful. They're one of the reasons why I could actually crack CLAT in such short notice. And yeah, so once my boards got over, I think I had about like less than 2 months left. And in those 2 months, uh, compared to the amount of preparation I had before the boards, I used to like study about an hour a day, just reading the newspapers and basic articles that the seniors asked me to read. And yeah, compared to that, after the boards, I was pretty. There were a lot of sleepless nights that I just in one night I used to complete like 200 pages of and yeah, mock tests. Coming to mock tests, I think without practicing mock tests, it's impossible to crack any exam for that matter, because mock tests is something that it gives you the idea of how papers are set, how it's basically the original test, but you're practicing it at home way beforehand. So
Right.
it drives out your fear, and gives you a little more confidence of answering the paper.
Right.
And then coming to uh, uh, yeah, the boards part, I think people should focus on their boards as well, unless uh, you do not have backup plans. As in, I had backup plans. I needed my board marks for uh, something that I would have gone instead, in case I couldn't crack that. So
Right.
therefore I focused on my boards till they got over, and then after that I just went all out, and
Mhm.
I went all out for CLAT.
Sadly, this time it's very surprising to see students getting only 4 or 5 days after their boards to
Yeah,
prepare.
that is.
So I don't know how that will pan out. But yeah, this is something which is really troubling for everyone who is preparing. But having said that, the competition is like that. So everyone will be competing with everyone who do not have time. So let's see how that pans out. Anyways, so speaking about common law admission test, of course, just to sum it up, and to sum it up, it has been a very interesting experience for all the three of you. The two of the seniors here, of course, gave the old CLAT, and the things were slightly different, but overall the preparation remains same, especially in terms of the basics. So going ahead with mocks and doing your concepts right, revising as much as you can, and then analyzing your mocks is something which everybody is supposed to do, be it the new pattern or the old pattern. In the new pattern, of course, as Kabir was mentioning, with the addition, you also need to look at it slightly differently, especially reading intensive exercises is something which you'd want to go ahead and take up for you to become successful. And always there has to be a sword hanging, unless, just like Kabir, it was the top 3 universities. So make sure that whatever it is, whatever that sword is, it could be some, you know, materialistic thing which you want to purchase, or it could be that sanction which your family imposes, that if you do not get into the top 5 university, you might not as well be allowed to do law, or whatever it is. But make sure that the momentum is there with the motivation as well. So that is something which will really help you to crack the common law admission test. Now, speaking about life after common law admission test, of course, all of us, we have a very unique expectation whenever we see the law universities or the uh, colleges, so to speak, in India. The experiences, they vary. Now, for a guy like me who was, doing his law back in 2012, 2013, it was a very different experience, and practical bits as well as knowledge intensive lectures were there. But now I think things have started changing in terms of the seriousness of lectures which the students are supposed to take, the research oriented approach which I think has been the administration is trying to imbibe in every student's life. So how has the experience been for you guys, especially after getting into a college like this? So I'll go ahead step by step. So how was your first day like? How did you adapt to a different set of people? So you might be meeting these people for for the first time. So a lot of people, it becomes slightly difficult to adjust to a new group of people who are coming from various states of the country, speaking different languages. And so of course English is going to be the universal language, but of course the overall diaspora, it's slightly heterogeneous. So how did you guys go about it? How did you basically adjust to your life in the premier law university? So I'll start with Chandra, if you can go ahead and elaborate on that.
Well, at first it was exciting, uh, a little scary as well, because this is the first time that you're leaving home, going to somewhere far away. You have people from all over the country, even all over the continent, actually coming to study law with you. You have people from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, a lot of places, NRIs as well, and all of us coming together and living one life. We are all going through a lot of the similar things, no matter how privileged you are back at home. You still are going to be sitting in the same mess, eating the same food, residing in the same hostels, sitting in the same classes, studying the same subjects in the library. It was a little difficult to adjust at first, because as someone from Mumbai who's been around cities, I mean, the entire city here, going to NALSAR, which is actually outside of Hyderabad in Shamirpet, it's quite a different experience, because it's a rural area. So there's not much to do there in terms of the life we have back at home here. So it's definitely a completely changed environment, which is actually beneficial for me, because how else would I have gotten to know what the other side of life can also be like? It was so in the first year, it was you had like a lot of overwhelming stuff, because it was a lot of university life just coming at you at one time, and you're not prepared for it at all. But as time went on, semester 2, semester 3, it was better. You got to grips with it. You got to learn more about it, how to tackle it better. And I think that was important, because without that, I think we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have so far. If it was online was actually, it was pretty, it was closing you off in some way, because you're just at home, you're learning through the video screen. You're not actually over there. So it was kind of closing off. But when you go back to university or go to university, it's an entirely new perspective. It's the same course, same subject, same teachers, same people, but now you're actually with them. Now it's not a simulation as such anymore. So it was a good experience. I moved to a different state, got to learn a lot of different things about that state and about other states as well. So you have a lot of Rajasthanis, a lot of Punjabis, a lot of Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Malayali people over there. It's you get to learn a lot about different people. In Mumbai also you have like a lot of immigrants, but it's mostly now they've become people of Maharashtra, of Mumbai. But those people are very much people of their own land. So you get to learn about their states. They learn about your states, how your home is, how their home is. And it's a pretty fun experience because we also have something called fests. So each community as such, they put on their own fest in law school. So for example, let's take Rajasthan, okay? The Rajasthanis have a fest of their own called Rajasthani Fest. And so their entire community in NALSAR, they pool money together. They go to the teachers well if they'd like to contribute something. They ask alumni, Rajasthani alumni, who are already working in their respective fields, if they want to contribute for the fest. And so what we have is we have dances, we have a dinner laid out by the Rajasthanis themselves, and they're serving their traditional food to us, and they're giving us an insight into how their lives are back at home. So that's one of the examples. We have other fests like Lodi Fest, which is for Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Delhi. East Fest, which is for the northeastern states, Bengal, Bangladesh, Odisha. You have Saudi Fest, you have Telugu Fest, you have Awadh Magad, which is for a lot of the Hindi belt region. So it's a pretty good experience because all these cultures together, you get to learn about like 99% of all the cultures that exist in India. So it's quite a new experience, which is priceless.
Absolutely, absolutely true. Ishwari, my next question to you is more of the academic experience which you have witnessed in a college. So of course, when you were studying in your school, the experience was slightly different, and when you are all out in it. Like what you are right now, so you're supposed to study law, all day, all night. How do you pace yourself with respect to the internals, the assignments, the exams? How are these placed, first of all, and how do you tackle them? So if you can talk about the NALSAR overall structure when it comes to taking lectures, the examinations, the internals, and all of that.
Actually, at first it was kind of very baffling for me because first semester I was not prepared for it. So I kind of struggled managing it and kind of placing it in a very orderly manner. But in my second semester, third semester, I could get a hang of it because what I used to do that if we had projects to do, so whenever we used to get our project types, um I first decided which project I wanted to do, and accordingly I started with my preparations. So far as the exams are concerned, I used to um, devote my time every day for two 2 hours out of what we what we used to do in a day for lectures. Now that we had our offline semester, we were called back in our fourth semester. So my timetable there actually on the campus was quite different because after lectures I used to devote uh, 2 hours for studies and um, half an hour for projects. But the key to really keep going and just start preparing and kind of mentally keeping yourself stable is just start and just practice for every 2 hours every day. So it will be easy for everyone. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Consistency is what you're saying has played amazingly well for you. My next question, of course. Uh, I would want to understand from you. Of course, Chandra has given us a very extensive view of how college life is actually a eclectic mix of embracing cultures. I would want to understand from you, since you have been there. You will be finishing your first year, if I'm not mistaken. I would want to understand from you how. Have you paced yourself, especially when I talk about, so Ishwari was talking about consistency. Chandra has his own unique way of taking about. Also third and fourth and fifth year are somewhat more relaxed, because you get conditioned to the difficulties in the assignments and the frequency of the things being thrown at you in terms of academics, but you are still adjusting to it. So how what is your go-to mantra, especially when it comes to the overwhelming of academics which has been thrown to you, and how and what do you see of NALSAR's unique academic structure? So if you can talk about a little bit about the assignments, the frequency of which you get, the internals, how it is, and the overall exam structure. So internal, external, and all of that. If you can go ahead and talk about it.
Sure, sir. So I'll begin with the basic. We've got 2 semesters a year. We've got a mid sem and a main first sem and the second sem. So the mid it's a 25 25 50 division. 25 is for mid sems. There's a mid sem paper, 25 marks, and there's a 25 mark. There's a 20 mark project and a 5 mark presentation for each subject. So in the first semester, we had to compulsorily do one project for each subject, and the 50 mark end sem. End sem was the main paper that we gave every semester, which had the entire portion that we covered the during the semester. And then so just sorry, apologies. Um, so where was I?
You were talking about the structure 25 25.
Yeah, sir. So yeah, after the main paper, we're done. We've given a break of sorts. So in my case, we were all online in the first semester. Even the second mid semester was online for us. But in the second semester, what we had was, I think even the second and third years had the same thing, that we could skip our projects which contain 25 marks in case we're confident that we've scored well in our mid-sems. So what they do is, out of 25 you get in your mid-sems, they're going to add the same proportion to your 25 of your assignments. So you can choose not to do your assignments. So that was one thing that they did in the second semester. So yeah, that was all about the marks. This continues for the rest of law school. And yeah, when we first came, we were on campus by 3rd of March, I guess. Yeah, all of us were there. So it was pretty overwhelming, considering that we've spent almost 3 years in a lockdown in a city like Mumbai. It has been pretty bad. So going there was pretty liberating. It was very, very liberating. And some things that Chandra did not talk about was he spoke about the fests. The fests are he spoke very well about the fests. We've got clubs as well. We've got a lot of clubs for people interested in different things. That we've got so many hobby clubs, and we've got the debate club. We've got the theater and drama club that Chandra is heading. I think Chandra is a very active participant in drama and the theater. So I'm surprised how he did not talk about that. And we got this every Wednesday. There's a psychologist that comes, and she hosts this art.
It's an art Wednesday, basically.
Yeah, it's an art Wednesday where free to do whatever we want. We're provided supplies.
So the university has us two therapists, and one of them hosts this kind of setting where we just sit out in the open area. We sit on like there are sheets put out for us, art supplies put out for us. There's music playing. It's like a relaxed environment where you can, after classes, once a week, come and just chill and make any kind of art you want, paint vases, and yeah, stuff like that. Basically.
Amazing, amazing. So it's called Art Wednesdays. All right, all right.
So
Yeah,
it's a much needed thing for law students. Actually, it doesn't seem like a very advanced thing, but it's a very basic. There are kids from outside. They just come, they just join. We're all a nice, happy, wholesome little group, just coloring, painting, and making our own little art pieces. So it's very fun to do that every Wednesday, and it's very stress relieving too. So after a long day of classes, it's
Right.
pretty.
Right. Superb.
Even we have some possum friends, like we have some dogs, puppies on the campus, and uh, this could act as one more therapy, playing with them. So yeah.
Absolutely. Chandra, so I'm not going to leave you with what Kabir said. Being the head of art committee. Talk about it, man. Like, how is it, and how do you fit such committees in a very academic intensive college like NALSAR? And I'm pretty sure all these committees are there for a reason. They come to your respect. They increase that creativity so that you can look at problems and things slightly differently. How do you go about it, and what impact has it had on your life, your personality, when I talk about drama? So if you can talk about that.
Well, drama is a very big part of my life, actually. Since I was young, I've been part of workshops, and there was a class I also went to, a class of sorts like called speech and drama, which was associated with the Trinity Theatre, I think. At that time, I didn't know what any of this really meant, but I just went there every twice in a week or something, and we did plays. We learned more about theatre itself as an art form, and it was fun for me. I was just a kid back then, so it was pretty cool. So when I went to NALSA in my first month itself, we were like the seniors came to our classes. They spoke to us and told us that there is such a thing like the NALSA Theatre Club, the NTC, and so you could just come and just like have a session with us, talk to us, see what you guys like about theatre if you're interested in something. And so we came there, and it was we had a meeting. It was pretty fun. It was called theatre, and majority of it was theatre, but it was also stand up. And probably like you could also like shoot movies and stuff, anything that was like art oriented as such. Just like we have a lot of legal groups and also like clubs, like law and other things, and for example that's one, courts and constitution. We also have the other side of the coin, which is culturally oriented activities. Art Wednesday is one of that. NALSA Theatre Club is one of that. The fests are a big part of that as well. And the fest, the NALSA Theatre Club had a play in my first month itself. So we had a play on a Shakespeare. We had a Shakespeare play adaptation, Much Ado About Nothing. And so we basically like acted out the whole thing in modern clothes as well. So it was like a bit of a twist on that tale. And we were really scared before we like went up on stage on the final day. We were actually considering that, listen, we haven't prepped enough. We can't do this right now. But we were told by seniors, no, it's fine. We've prepped enough. I'm sure everyone's going to love it. And the theater, we have an auditorium, which is actually one of the best made buildings on the campus. And a lot of people had come there to see how the first years were doing. And it went pretty well. A lot of people liked us. And since then, I've always been interested in getting this to do more plays. And yeah, the lockdown completely wiped out like a lot of progress, because 2 years completely gone. We couldn't do anything at that time. But now I'm trying to gauge if there's interest now among junior batches, even among any senior batches, if they want to do something. And we'll organize something again that could be like good for the college itself. And it doesn't have to be about Shakespeare. It can be something legally oriented as well. So it'll be more in line with the law college's entire like theme itself, and it can also be on the cultural side. And I think that having plays that are legally oriented is also important, because the concepts that people don't get maybe in paper or maybe on a laptop, maybe they can get if it's actually acted out. Maybe a concept that people aren't sensitized towards, if you have that in the play format where people come and they watch it, done by your own classmates, with the people you know, it could connect with them in a deeper way than just reading about it or like watching maybe a video about it might.
Right. Absolutely correct. Chandra, I'm pretty sure that will pan out for you.
Thank
My
you so
second
much. I hope
question
so.
is to Ishwari. Ishwari, you told me and asked about your innate interest in dancing, for that matter. Have you been able to follow it here in NALSAR?
Absolutely, because in 2020 I had to take a break for CLAT, and I did my Visharad this year. That is the final exam in Bharatanatyam. So I was able to do it uh, while I was in my law school, and uh, in 2021 I thought of doing it, and given that time period I was at home. We had our online classes, so I went up to my mom. I told her that I'm missing it and I want to do it because I want to complete it. So I was very much able to do that. So yeah, still I was able to pursue it. I performed after I was on campus this year in Karpe. So it was an exciting experience, a very beautiful experience.
So speaking about the festivals, if I talk about, so we used to have these small weeks, cultural week and sports week and all of that. How is it in NALSAR? Do we have like so we used to have sports festivals every alternate years. That's how we used to have it, and we used to have cultural week in one semester and sports week in one semester, so evenly spaced out. So how is it in NALSAR, Kabir? If you can go ahead and talk about it.
Sir, so there's this very big event that the top three law schools host every year. So it's NUJS 1 year. It was NUJS this year. So we've got all the sports: cricket, football, volleyball, badminton, tennis.
Except
There's a lot more.
basketball.
Yeah,
Except basketball, I think we didn't win every one of them, but we won the majority of them and won the overall championship trophy.
All right.
Yeah,
and you are talking about NUJS, right?
Yeah. NUJS, NALSAR, and NLS come together and have trilaterals.
Okay. I didn't know this. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so that happens every year. This year it was hosted by NUJS. So students of NALSAR and NLS, they were there at NUJS, and
It was actually
NALSAR was the winner.
supposed to be hosted by NALSAR, but because of the pandemic, we weren't sure if we could actually have so many people coming over and staying.
Right.
And NUJS is a way smaller campus, but what they did is they put people in hotels and like places as that nearby.
Right.
NALSAR, there's nothing as such close by that people could. I mean, there are some hotels, but they would be very expensive to host a lot of people. We have people on campus.
Right.
The problem is that it might be a risk. So the administration decided not to have it here and pass the opportunity on to NUJS to have it.
Right. All right. Yes, Kabir, continue. So this was about the
the trilateral. So it's a very prestigious sports event.
Right.
So and about cultural
weeks and cultural festivals.
Yes, sir. So cultural, I think, as Chandra initially spoke about the regional fests. Other than that, we've got other clubs as well. I think Chandra knows more about that because I wasn't very active in clubs and social life on campus. Chandra is a very sweet senior. I think he's the only senior that every batch loves. I think he's just great. He's helped me with internships. He's helped me with internships. He's helped me with exams. He's given me notes.
All
He's just
right,
a
superb, superb. So,
real man.
Chandra, I of course have gotten a basic idea of how the cultural festivals and overall how the festivities happen in your college. I would also want you to emphasize a little bit about your internship. So you have had a very interesting way to go about your career. You probably will get a chance to intern in one of the public policy think tanks in UK or Canada.
Canada, yeah, it's
Canada.
the Liberal Party in Canada.
Okay.
That's where the internship
Can you
has
talk
been given.
about it? What is it, and how did you get an opportunity there?
Okay, so what happened is I have always been interested in maybe like just exploring other countries and seeing how life works over there. And I thought that okay, Canada is a good place to start. The living there isn't as expensive as the UK, for example. It's not as violent as the United States.
Right.
And there's a huge Indian diaspora there, South Asian diaspora, which can mean a similar entry culture. So they're also well versed in their original culture, which is your culture, while they're also well versed in the Canadian culture.
Right.
So they're like an intermediary as such. And so one of my friend's uncles, he works as the head of the board of directors in Canada, in the Prime Minister of Canada's personal riding, like personal riding, the one that he's elected as an MP from. So I asked my friend, listen, we could just like apply and try to get something done. Even though his uncle wouldn't be able to like get us in entirely, of course, that would be impossible. He could at least help us set up an interview with other people who would at least find out if we're interested enough to be given a chance to work over there. So he did set up a meeting with Canadian MPs, and so they interviewed us, and we spoke about what we wanted to do in the Liberal Party, what we think of Canada, what kind of experiences we've had before, and various stuff like this. And so we sent our CVs over, we had the interviews done, and then it was in a few days it was confirmed through.
Very nice.
But at the time, it was like the pandemic was raging, so there were no internship opportunities open at that time for anyone.
Right.
So it just kept on getting delayed, unfortunately.
Right.
So it's still on, but it's coffee delayed.
Right. Ishwari, are you here with us? All right, Ishwari. So I would want you to talk about your internship experiences. How many and what was did your expectation meet with the actual reality in the internship? So if you can talk about that.
So yeah, so I would suggest in the very first year, I interned with the organization, and I had researched on women gender-based violence, and it would be a good opportunity in the very first semester to start looking for internships and not directly working under any advocate or a senior advocate. I would suggest that you start with a research-based internship. And that's how presently I am working under a senior advocate, Pradeep Rai, who is also the vice president of the Supreme Court Bar Association. So it is quite an enriching and a very interesting internship because I was fortunate enough to attend the court proceedings. I learned a lot. And due to the research internship which I took in the very first second semester, it helped me to augment my research skills, my drafting skills in a way. So these are kind of internships which I started with, and the current internship in terms of academics, it's very engaging. It's kind of a food for thought, food for my brain. So yeah, kind of interesting.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Right.
Ishwari.
Thanks.
What about you, Kabir?
What about you, Kabir?
It's your internship. Yeah. So how about your internship experiences? So, what you told me, I think you have interned with a pool of advocates and a firm, if I'm not
Yes, sir.
mistaken.
That
You
was
can go
in
ahead
my
and talk
yeah.
about.
That was when college was online.
Okay.
I could get a I it wasn't the vacation time as well. It was just I think right after my exams, there was one internship that I got into. I just uh, visited random offices in the fort area. They're actually in need of interns at that time, so they just they took my interview and they kind of
Yeah,
and
that
considering that my
shows the enthusiasm that you've got. You go out and go ahead and include yourself anywhere. So
yeah,
that's
that's
the
what you
always
should
about.
do in your I think without enthusiasm there's
Absolutely.
no uh, you know enthusiasm is the
Yeah.
key.
So how is your current experience like? You have interned with these two lawyers, is what I've
Yeah, that was when college was online, and that was around I think around December or something.
Okay.
And that was uh, that was a very brief internship, and that was a very eye-opening one as well, because prior to that I did not act, I was never handed cases. I just visited courts. I just observed the proceedings. That is a very holistic experience. I urge everyone to visit courts as when you can. It's a very the experience, it's very undescribable. It's very and especially if you're a law student, it's obvious that you go to courts with or without the internship. You have to go to courts.
Yes.
So um, yeah, in December it was a very brief internship where the associates they basically included me in the cases that they were handling. It was mostly civil cases about check bouncing matters and basically negotiable instruments.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a brief idea of how stuff happens there. And back then it was mostly the city civil court
Yeah.
uh, matters, and very rarely the high court as well. And the internship that I'm currently in, uh, it is also a startup firm. It's started pretty recently in Mumbai. It's in the fort area of Mumbai again. This one I had to apply online. They were looking for interns, and then I had an interview, and then I got in the next day.
Right.
So yeah, this internship has been much more uh, I think enlightening, because we've got cases, and the best part is one of the associates isn't present. He's got some medical issues, so that increases the workload on me, and therefore the experience that I can gain. And the other partner also doesn't come, so it's just me and the founding partner in the office every day, and he just gives me everything. He asks me to go to Bandra. He sent me to different courts, get that registration done, get the application filed. So now, and the drafting part as well. While I'm in office, I do the drafting part, and when I'm in courts, I so they call out dates, and basically, yeah, I've learned a lot now. I think yeah, it's a very great experience this time. And back in 2021, I think around September or something, there was this senior that so we've got this mail thread that any student of NALSAR can send to the whole of NALSAR. So a student so we've got so many internships coming there as well. We've got uh, the seniors who are willing to help their juniors by providing internships. So there's this one internship that was in Bhopal. It was a Medha Patkar internship. So it was something related to Narmada Bachao Andolan. That was what I applied for, but uh, I got in as well, along with 5 or 6 of my classmates, but they all backed out because the corona situation was pretty bad back then.
Right.
So that was one opportunity I missed, and that's NGO related internship.
Right.
So that's what my seniors advised me to do initially, because in a first year they tell me that there's not much advocates that want uh, unexperienced interns. They want people to get their work done. They just don't want people to come and just take up space and just learn and stuff. So they also want you to get their work done. So that's something I proved, and that's fun now. It's very
Super. Thanks a lot for your the experience that you shared. Next question is to Chandan. This will probably be the last question for the day. I would want you to go ahead and explain how the placements are. How NALSAR is. So of course we have heard a lot, about the placements and the amount of money which students graduating from NALSAR make. But I would want to know from the horse's mouth itself, how exactly is the placement, and how is the placement committee or placement coordination cell, or whatever the name is. How is that? How everything gels up for a student to finally bag a placement in one of the top tier firms?
So we have something called the ICC and the RCC. So the Internship Coordination Committee and the Recruitment Coordination Committee.
Okay.
The ICC is usually in normal times made from the third year onwards, while the RCC is made from the fourth onwards. Because at the end of fourth year, you have day zero, day one, stuff like this, which has firms coming all the way to NALSAR, sitting down, conducting interviews, giving jobs to a lot of people. Then you have day one, so on. So the ICC works in tandem with the RCC to basically invite firms to come and give talks at NALSAR, come and have workshops with NALSAR students. And so this basically creates a sort of relationship with the firms itself, which is necessary because you need to be familiar with the firms need to be familiar with you.
Right.
For the firms to have a gauge on how the population of NALSAR University is, they come and have talks, they come and engage with our people. And we also try to see how these firms are, how the lawyers are when they come for talks. And we have engagement sessions with them. Based on this, the ICC, it basically coordinates internships for a lot of people who apply. And the ICC internships, you can't like back out of them, you can't postpone them. Like once you're in. It's very beneficial though, because you have a good system to get internships without applying yourself to every law firm individually, which could be a tedious task. The RCC, meanwhile, it works in like a subscriber-based system where you pay a sum to basically be part of the RCC as a subscriber, and for days either you sit down as a subscriber to for placements, and that's how people usually get jobs over here. The salaries are pretty high. Like I think around 15 lakh per annum. 15 lakh is a good starter entry salary for a lot of law firms. It can go like a little higher, a little lower, but over time, I think people have realized that salary is really not everything. It's the kind of work that they want here. It's the kind of law firm they want. It's the location of the law firm itself and how the people are, if there's scope for improvement, and these kinds of things actually facilitate a lot of the conversations around whether you want a job at this law firm or this law firm, where you want to intern further, where you want to get a call back from, stuff like this, basically. And that's how the system works.
All right. So thanks a lot for a very interesting session. This, included a lot of things from the academics to the placement to the cultural bit to, as Chandra has pointed out, the eclectic mix which NALSAR is when it comes to culture, when it comes to a lot of other interesting, small, tiny, but yet potent bits in a student's life in college, be it drama society, be it art society, be it sports. So we got a good understanding of how the entire college is, and it was lovely knowing all of you, all the three of you, knowing how your journey till now has been, how you transformed yourself from a student to become from a law aspirant rather to become almost a lawyer in the next 3-4 years. I'm pretty sure all of you will become very successful graduates. I must say that. But honestly, the interview went pretty well. I'm glad that all of you can take out some time from your busy Sunday for the students, for us, for a lot of people who will be watching us and who are watching us on YouTube right now. So thanks a lot to Ishwari, to Kabir and Chandra. And
Thank you
we
so much for
from
inviting us.
Get Set
Thank you
Law,
for having us, sir.
right? We from Get Set Law, we wish you all do very well. We will we would want you to keep in touch and keep guiding students of how you are where you are right now. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. This was a great session.
Right. Thanks a
Well,
lot, Ishwari. Thanks a lot, Kabir. Thanks, Chandra.
Thank you, sir.
thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye. Take care. Have a good day.
Take care, sir. Good
Bye.
day.